Good evening and welcome to the Graham Craig Ruth Show. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Happy St. Patrick's weekend to you all. I hope you had a great weekend and were a lot more sensible than I was. Tonight's show is sponsored by Azure Jewellery and Hertz Car Sales, Blarney. Who am I joined by tonight? My Essex girl, NATMAC, DJ promoter, event organiser and director of Underground Ovation, the fabulous Konrad, chairperson of the CIT LGBT Society. She's the fabulous girl from Kerry, link coordinator Kate Moynihan, and Pádraig of Cork Gay Project. Thank you for joining me, guys. Full house tonight.
Delighted to be here.
So how are you? So St. Patrick's weekend. So the parade was a big thing for yourselves, guys. Konrad, you were in there?
We were. There was an LGBT community section in the parade that the lads organised.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah, and you really enjoyed it.
There was a really big crowd. The whole community came together behind one banner, and we'd all maybe about 40, 50 rainbow flags. So it was really bright, really colourful.
You all were yourself, Pádraig? Did you have the flags up in the air?
Yeah, it was great. We had a huge contingent and it's really bright and colourful, and we got a really nice response from the crowd.
What I love about Prides and St. Patrick's Days especially, you see like the younger generation coming in and like then they're going home and they're asking questions like, oh, what's that flag, or what did that mean? And it's good to get it into their head, especially as a young age, which is fantastic. And what about yourself, Nash? Did you really embrace the St. Patrick's?
If I'm honest, the Sunday I had a bit of downtime because I went to a festival on the Saturday, which is in Cork. It was a festival called TechWorks.
Very good. That was all over social media over the weekend.
Yeah, so I probably wanted to chill out a bit on Sunday. I didn't quite make it out. I had intentions of going to the parade, but you know, it didn't happen for me.
And I say, idea why, after being at a festival, like what's the cure of a Sunday? Is it a Chinese or is it a pizza?
It was a pizza.
Oh, yeah.
It was a pizza, a bit of stodge, you know.
And we have a 4-star ambassador in Konrad. So
I had my 4-star. He's nice.
So guys, I have a very special booklet in my hand. Konrad, tell me all.
So we're launching a booklet tomorrow. It's first in Ireland. It's how to set up a gay-straight alliance in secondary schools. So we have a lot of schools coming to Millennium Hall then tomorrow to attend the launch. And we have speakers from Link and Gay Project and the Up Cork Youth Group. So we're very fortunate to get sponsorship from Cork Pride.
And there's big sponsors there, because you see Bank of Ireland, you see like CIT, the Cork City Council, but Kate, for someone say like Link, like give me the meaning behind Link.
Link, well, it's LINC rather than LINK, which is what a lot of people think. So it started off as Lesbians in Cork. Now, over the years, because we've been running 20 years, this is actually our 20th year, which we're very proud of. So over the years, we've become more national. So we would support a lot of women around the country. So we've sort of dropped the Cork bit, but remained Link. So we support lesbian, bisexual women all over the country.
What I like about I've from speaking to women apart, like the transition, say, from girls who would have started off life and they've had kids and they're now part of the Link family, and like how they're living their life with great support from yourself. Like we've one of our good viewers of the show, Stephanie Fogarty, as well. I know she does fantastic work and she's been listed throughout the booklet. The work that she does for the LGBT community in Cork alone and Ireland. But like, say, to get so passionately involved yourself, how did that come about, or where does the passion come from?
Well, I suppose passion comes from first off being a member of the community myself, but it has come from the difference Link made in my own life. You know, so I started going into Link, just dropping in. Difficult time in my life, needed a bit of support, started calling in, and then over time I started volunteering there. Through it, people there supported me to go back to college, get a degree. So it's been really part of my life.
I do feel though, if a booklet like this had been around back in when I was in school, and like people are like, you're only like 25, you're chatting like you're a lot older, but like rural Ireland especially, and I know Pádraig and Kate, you're coming from rural Ireland, kind of a little bit like you like went to school in the city, but like, do you think like would you have really appreciated something like this being set up in schools when you were in school, especially, Kate? When I
was in school, so I didn't come out until I left school, and I was one of those people who left in the 80s. It was safer to be abroad, so I moved to Denmark for a few years. So this for me it wouldn't have counted, but I would have developed an awareness much sooner for myself than having to immigrate. I'd have had more of a life here. I'd have been able to talk to my family about stuff, which I didn't for years and years. So in that way, it would have been massive.
And say, Pádraig, usually you get a booklet and it's all stats, figures based, and like you can't relate to it in any way. But like when Konrad sent me this last night, I could relate to it straight away because everything in here is quite real in its way that it's, if it's not dealt with properly in school, or like if you're, like it's like teenagehood is difficult anyway. You're going through puberty, that hormone balance, and but like school education is the most important thing for adulthood because it sets you up for life, a good education, so you can have a good career. But like for myself, everything that's in here about like your education failing if you don't have the support networks, I had to repeat my Leaving Cert. So like your mental health really affects. You can develop an eating disorder. You can develop anxiety. Like so, like that's like it's fantastic to get it out there, and I think to tackle it amongst a young age, like how we say about having young children at parades, like Pádraig, like this is going to go down a storm in secondary schools.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. And I think what's really great about it is it's really practical. So it's like a practical toolkit for a school who wants to set something up. So it could spark huge change of different schools setting up these gay straight alliances across their schools. And it's really great for kids in school to have the support so they don't feel alienated, so they don't feel isolated, so they can get that support network in schools. And too often we hear from young people that they don't feel supported in school, or they don't have a safe place to come out of school, or they don't feel comfortable coming out of school, and they often look for those spaces outside of school, so like the Up Cork LGBT youth group. But what we'd like to see is across all of society, from schools to workplaces to on the streets, that you can be safe to be who you are and you can express yourself, and this is part of that change.
I do feel like the kids these days, I admire how brave they are. I think one big show that's helped is RuPaul's Drag Race, because like that's really brought like acceptance into the community, just as long with all the great work that people have done, like Pride festivals. But like you think the coming out age now must have come down a bit, because I was 18. Kate, how old were you, say, when you
I was about 20.
20, Konrad?
I think I kind of knew about 14 maybe.
Yeah. Was say like fully coming out to family and say...
Luckily I never had to, so I haven't had that experience.
What about yourself, Pádraig? Because rural Ireland, Kerry, how... Because I think, like, do you think city schools will embrace this easily? Do you think rural Ireland might be more of a challenge?
I think it often depends on like having a kind of champion or an ally. So they are everywhere. So the city schools might be easier, but some schools you'll find in rural Ireland, it just takes the one good adult, as they say, like the one good teacher to take it up and say, we want to set this up in our school, and to take it from there. So I'd be hopeful that in all schools across Munster and across Ireland that they kind of embrace it and go for it.
And so what's the main plan tomorrow? Like, there's going to be talkers there?
We have the Lord Mayor McFinn is launching it at 11 a.m. and then we have speakers. We have two schools that supported the booklet from the very start, which is Dare Park CBS and my own school, Cláiste David. So we have speakers from both schools to come and speak then, and we have speakers from Link, the Gay Project, and from Up Cork, and then just from CIT.
And I was asked a question recently, and like I feel like I'm not LGBT educated enough to have given a response, but I feel like I have three people here tonight that are very well able for response. What would you say to people that question why we need a pride when we have equality, and why we need a gay club? For me, I classify a gay club as a safe haven. That's where But Kate, like, why do
they always have been, and they've always been that safe space for us. So having lost, I suppose, the likes of loafers over the years would have had a real impact on people, on a community, meeting places to meet. But like for me, I got an email today from someone who had experienced extreme homophobia. You know, a guy threatening her and her partner. And as long as there's one person who's experiencing that, we need to be visible. We need to take part in St. Patrick's Day, which is like a real community. It's Ireland and all the communities who live in Ireland. So we are part of that, and it's to make that visible. So when you see the kids cheering, and like really warm reception from them, so it gives them that place. They know, okay, so these people, I belong to them. And that is so important, to have that visibility. Go out and enjoy yourselves and feel safe in a place. Just so necessary for development, for growth, the whole lot.
And you take part, like, what answer would you have to someone that says, like, the cost of, say, a Pride festival costs every year to put on, even though extensive fundraising is done by yourself? Like, why do you think, like people say, all right, you can get married now, you can adopt now, like, why isn't there a straight festival? Like, why I think
the crucial thing is, like, laws change overnight, but society changes over generations. So just because the law changed as it did in May 2015 doesn't mean that societal attitudes are going to change instantly, and it takes a long time for those attitudes to change. But there's also still lots of legislative work to do. There's lots of, we need better hate crime legislation, we need better protections in place, we need better family rights. So even though the marriage bill passed, the associated family rights still haven't been passed, and they're still working their way through the Oireachtas. So you have families, there was a couple on the Ray Darcy show at the weekend talking about their struggle to have their son recognised as part of their family. So there's still a lot of work to do. So across Europe, there's an organisation called ILGA Europe, so the International Lesbian Gay Association, and they rank the countries across Europe in terms of LGBT human rights and policy protections. And Ireland got a score of 52% and came 15th in Europe, which has surprised lots of people. So there are still lots of gaps there of things we can do. So Ireland is a great place to be LGBT, but we can make it even better. And I think being visible and having these spaces and having pride festivals is all part of that, making this kind of the best place to be gay in the world.
NATMAC, I know ladies are known for being multitask and really can take multiple challenges on at once, but to be a DJ promoter, event organiser and director of Underground Ovation, are you living off Red Bull?
Pretty much. That's part-time as well. I've got a full-time job as well. So
fair play to you. You're really tackling it on all ends. Yeah. So you're Essex girl, embracing Cork. Is Cork home now?
Cork definitely is home. Has been for a little while. About 11 years now.
And would you go home much?
I would travel a lot, I would. I'd like going back to Essex, just to see family though, because it's not exactly the best place in the world. But London and places like that,
Fab. And say direct Underground Ovation, tell me on.
Yeah, it's basically it's an underground music platform for people who are unsigned, so for people to get a platform to play. So I do media, I do little video exclusives. We try and get them some exposure on some radio. If I throw an event, I'll try and give someone an opportunity to play, because it's really hard to try and get into the industry. You're scrutinised
so you're all
a lot.
about supporting local talent and getting people on a platform and they get out to a stage and an audience.
Yeah, exactly.
And what kind of music areas and niches are you most passionate about?
I would probably be more passionate about techno, but I don't sort of segregate it to that because there's so much out there. So anything from minimal and house, even to a bit of disco, but it would be mainly techno. Really.
Have you ever made it into Chambers of a Saturday?
I haven't, no, but I've one of my very good friends is Candy Warhol.
What fabulous.
So I do have a little alias called Surly Q, and I DJ disco sometimes for his Mokia nights that he does.
And speaking of the Mokia nights, they're having rave success at the moment. I actually know they're nominated for an award in Amsterdam in May. That's a great success not only in Cork, but it's gone to Europe now. So one of our good friends, Konrad, Letitia Lissin, is a massive part of that as well. And
Mia Gold.
Mia Gold, another one of our good friends. Yeah. But Canty is really, and it's become a feature night now. I think it's once a month in Cork, and they cover all the occasions as well. And they've got some young talent as well. And because there's you see young drag queens now, when they're 16, 17, and then I suppose the trans community in Cork as well has really taken centre stage, and I suppose we've the Hurley sisters, so this covers everyone overall. It's not just covering gay, all kind of any LGBT curious even, because I think when you're young as well, you're 14, you can really question yourself. So Pádraig, what would you have to say to anyone who has mixed emotions of how they're feeling at the moment?
Don't be under pressure to decide your sexual orientation. Take your time. Talk to people. Reach out if that's appropriate. So there's different supports out there. So different youth groups. Talk to a teacher or an adult who you can trust.
And Kate, do you find there's a lot of labellisation in the LGBT world? As in, it's very hard if you're 14, 15 to know. Your mind's a little bit curious, but what stigma brackets do I fit into? Because you have bi, you have curious, you have lesbian, gay, transgender. So what would you say? Try not label yourself straight away?
I think what Pádraig said, at your own time and your own pace. And it's only you decide. No one else can put any label on you or decide anything for you. So, and Up Cork, LGBT youth group, come along to one of their meetings. Contact them. They meet in Link on a Wednesday night, in Gay Project on a Tuesday night. Come along to one of those.
And what age group can, if a parent is watching tonight and they're a bit curious about their child's behaviour of recent, or may have concerns or queries, what's the standard age you can go into one of these clubs at Konrad?
Our youth group at the moment is 14 to 23, I think. So there's people of all different ages, and it's really like they were always helping each other out. It's really nice. So they were kind of the inspiration then behind this, because they were the ones that were struggling to get these kind of supports in their schools. And with the numbers growing in the youth group, it's obviously very needed as well.
And it just to say as well, and there's also supports then for parents as well. So we have a group for parents of LGBT kids, and there's also a group called Transparency, which is the parents of trans kids. So there's lots of supports in Cork. We're very lucky to have two really strong organisations, the likes of CIT, the different societies in the colleges, and producing this. And like Konrad, just so proud of the work you've done and contribution you've made to us in Link. Yourself and Stephanie, you mentioned her before,
and just like more passionate advocates than Konrad and Stephanie. Did tremendous work that they do. But we mentioned homophobia, and I think homophobia often comes from ignorance and lack of education. With that, this is the flip side. This oozes education. It's by far ignorant, and I think by starting with the younger generation, the future older generation, it's all that's where it's going to work tremendously. So, Kate, like, what would you hope to achieve from this booklet launching tomorrow?
Oh, I just hope that there's kids who take it on, and who stand up for their friends, who are that voice. Because sometimes, you know yourself, sometimes it's hard to defend yourself or have that voice and to express it. But to have your friend stand up for you, that is just, it's like, the icing on the cake, really, to have your friend. And this booklet provides that, and provides all the information for a group setting up, and that schools change. And so that kids don't, they don't have that same hard experience that all of us have had. But so it's more open for them.
And Natalie, so tell me, like you, so is your support, major support for local talent. Any stuff coming up, like, say, DJ promotion-wise, event organisation in the coming weeks?
Yeah, definitely. I'll do a night in Dali. It'll be the third instalment that we do with a lady called Yasmin Gardizi. I try to promote equality as well, but in the female light, because as a DJ, it's a very male-dominated industry. So to try and promote the females as well. So we've got a night we do back-to-back, me and Yasmin, and there's a few other things. I've got a festival coming up called Je ne sais quoi, which is out in West Cork. Really, really nice spot. So, a few things. You can catch it on Underground Ovation on Facebook and see all it off.
We know one very kind of familiar female DJ ourselves, don't we, Konrad?
We do, indeed.
You'd catch her in Chambers of it Wednesday, Thursday and Saturday, isn't it?
What's that?
DJ Jules.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and it's lovely because it's nice to see females do well in the music industry as well, and the DJ industry. As you said, like, it is a very male-orientated industry, so see them taking centre stage, and they're owning the club, and they're responsible for the mood and the atmosphere setting in the club, so it is good.
Like, right.
Yeah, definitely. You'll have to come into us some Saturday. Me and Konrad will get you on to dance floor and have a bit of a boogie.
Yeah, defo,
Definitely. And say, like, Kate, you touched on it there, like loafers, like a young coming out community now, like, where is there Nana's? Is that a place that people can go to now, or where can, like,
I
if you
think
go?
Chambers is the place that most of the young people go to.
A lot of people go to film barras and stuff as well,
on their first dates.
Yeah.
Barras is the place to go.
Dates,
So I hear.
The great thing now, though, is that, like, most pubs are welcoming and, like,
they embrace. Especially Pride is amazing in Cork. Like, everyone really embraces it.
Totally.
And like the atmosphere in the streets as well is absolutely amazing. Guys, I know we touched on food at the start of the show, and we mentioned Force there, but we have a fabulous competition this week, guys. A meal for two, in none other than Captain America. So, like, I love a good burger, good wings. So we even throw a cocktail in or a brownie sundae. How would you enter like this post? Share your favourite foodie. So I'm going to either share Konrad, or I'm going to either share with Letitia, and share. So get it out there, guys. So a fabulous competition. Dinner for two, especially get over this bank holiday weekend hump. Guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight.
Thanks very much.
Pleasure.
Really had a fab
you.
time. Guys, best of luck with the booklet.
Thanks.
Get it out there, spread the word. Tonight's show is sponsored by Azure Jewellery and Hearst Car Sales, Blarney. Catch me next week, guys, 8:30, the Graham Craig Ruth Show. Thank you so much for tuning in, and thank you so much for joining me, guys.
Thanks very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.